Well, hello everyone. Welcome our second go at this video. We're talking about cleansing the immune system and the lymphatic system. I am Rose Kress, and I'm the owner and the director of the Yoga Healing Institute. And we're talking today about the lymphatic system, which is the immune system. So let me give you a little description of what the lymphatic system is, and then we'll go into practices to keep the lymphatics clear. So your lymphatics are your immune system. They are the interstitial, it is the interstitial fluid. So it is the fluid between the cells that carries nutrients from the bloodstream to the cells and then carries the garbage from the cells back to the bloodstream to be released. Your lymphatics are also your joint fluid. It's the fluid in your nervous system called the cerebrospinal fluid. So the lymphatics are kind of everywhere in the body. You are most familiar with your lymphatics when you get off an airplane or you've been sitting in a funky position and your ankles are swollen with fluid and they're bigger than they normally are. That is lymphatic pooling. Edema in the legs is lymphatic fluid pooling. It comes from a lack of movement of the lymphatics. As we go deeper now into our understanding of the lymphatics and the immune system, this information comes from Ayurveda. Ayurveda is commonly known as yogic medicine. It is the oldest continuously practiced medicine in the world, about 5,000 years. A lot of this I have learned from Dr. Duyard. Here's one of his books, Eat Wheat, which actually goes through a process of cleansing. Ayurveda is very complex, and one of the things I love about Dr. Duyard is that he makes a really complicated system really easy and easy to do. And he and his wife live the lifestyle. They both, his wife particularly, is radiant with health. And dare I say it, she looks younger than I am, and she's had 6 children. So color me impressed. So I love this book. Link in the description below if you want to get it. And it's backed up by over 600 research studies. So really good book. His website is lifespa.com. So he talks a lot about the lymphatics because in Ayurveda, the lymph is the beginning and the end of health. The lymphatics, too, are also, if you've ever watched the bouncing video that we've got on our channel, the lymphatics are also the place where we deposit our experiences and our emotions. So in your lymphatic system, you're often walking around with some of the stuff that's come up in your day. If we don't cleanse things out, then that stuff gets deposited in the body, and then we carry it as these kind of karmic knots or even physical tension, aches and pains within the body. Your lymphatic system has no pump of its own. Circulatory system has a pump. It's your heart. So that's constantly pumping the blood. But your lymphatics do not have a pump. They rely on physical movement and breathing. So one thing you can do right now is start taking deep breaths in and out as I'm talking to you. This breathing practice of deep breaths in and out is actually massaging a bunch of lymph nodes, drainage points all along the spine. You can't massage them because they're on the inside of the body. So you have to take deep breaths to massage those lymph nodes to get things kind of clearing. Your lymphatic tissue is everywhere your body touches the world. So you have lymphatic tissue on the other side of your skin. You have lymphatic tissue on the other side of your nasal passageways. You have lymphatic tissue all surrounding your guts. You have lymphatic tissue all surrounding your lungs. According to Ayurveda, and my understanding of Ayurveda, when your belly gets big, when it's soft in the morning, if you touch your belly and it's soft and, oh yeah, I can push my fingers in, it's nice and easy, I can actually grab flesh and do this with it, but then your belly is really, really hard in the afternoon, that is lymphatic fluid collection in and around your intestines. It's saying, I need to be cleared out. And we'll talk about how you can do that in a minute. I know there's a different Western medicine understanding, walking the boundaries between Western medicine, not as a professional, but just as a practitioner of yoga therapy, and a personal practitioner of Ayurveda. There's often a lack of understanding of some things in Western medicine. Western medicine does not focus on the lymph, other than when somebody has cancer and they cut out those lymph nodes. So you can feel your own lymph nodes and you know that they're clogged when they're sore to the touch. So you've got a lot right underneath your armpit here, so you can kind of poke around. If you have lymphatic swelling or lymph node swelling, when you touch with your fingertips, it's going to be sore. You've also got lymph nodes right here in the chest, so about the center point of your collarbone, the pokey outy part right here, 2, maybe 3 finger widths below. Circular massage. Ooh, there it is. It's a sore point. That's lymph node. And then down in your groin, you've also got lymph nodes down there that can be kind of big and they can be tender. So when a lymph node is tender, it's may have it's trying to work really hard, it's collecting stuff, but it's not really clearing out and draining very well. So the first thing that you can do to help drain and keep your lymphatics moving is sip on warm water. So the sipping on warm water that warmth helps to open the lymphatic drainage points. As Dr. Duyard says, they unstick, and so they're open, and so they're passing the fluid. Warm water also makes you thirstier during the day. So when you're sipping on warm water, you'll actually want to drink more water. So it's basically taking a sip of warm to hot water every 15 minutes and then drinking water elsewhere. I have noticed that if I fall out of the practice of sipping on hot water, then when I get back into it, I'll usually get a bit of a headache in the afternoon the first day, sometimes the second day, like, oh, I feel really kind of cruddy as my system is cleaning things out. You can use a hydro flask. Now that those are everywhere, a hydro flask is great. You just put half to about 2/3 of boiling water, and then you add room temperature water, and then you sip on it, because you're only going to want to sip on it. Also, well, this is my bubba. And I'll put hot water in here. Currently, my bubba is full of my cinnamon tea, which is what I'm drinking every day to help boost my immune system during this time. So sipping on hot water is your first tool. Your lymph, when it drains into the heart and then the lungs, and then you exhale the garbage. So again, if you're not taking those deep breaths, start taking those deep breaths. Start to pull your navel a little bit more to squeeze more of that air out. Emphysema is the disease of not exhaling enough. And if you want another practice for really getting stuff out of the lung tissue, then you can watch our video on Kapalabhati breathing, which will help get stuff out. Your lymph also drains into your intestines. So if you're having digestive issues, your intestines might not be working well. Or if your belly is really protruded and hard during the day, that is a sign that your lymphatics are not draining properly. They're probably clogged up inside your intestines. Ooh. So you can do a panchakarma, a cleanse, which is a minimum of 2 weeks. It's a special diet of food and herbs and practices. You can do an online one with Dr. Duyard. He calls it the Colorado Cleanse. Really great practice. You can get his book called The Colorado Cleanse too if you'd like to read that. I've done it with him before. I've done it by myself and I've done it with him. Great practice. I've done at-home panchakarmas for years, and I always enjoy them. The other way, and this is tip number 2 for you, to clean out those intestines is fiber, fiber, fiber. Roughage. They call it roughage for a reason. Like to think of that kale and the broccoli and the apples as kind of marching through your intestines and just scrubbing all the collection of gunk in between the cilia. So the surfaces, because when you look at a microscopic level of the intestines, they kind of look more like this. So your absorptive surface is big, but this stuff can get clogged and stuck together. So your absorptive surface is just what would be the tips of the fingers. Because this is microscopic, you could not see it on something like a colonoscopy. Somebody, I've seen colonoscopies before, pictures, and it's like, oh yeah, well that intestine looks really, really clean, but we don't know what it looks like at the microscopic level because that's not what a colonoscopy is looking at. A lot of times I think Western medicine just hasn't delved deep enough into the system. So drinking hot water, well, first taking deep breaths, because if you're not taking deep breaths, again, big breaths in, big breaths out. Second is your hot water. Third is eating roughage. Fourth is movement. Movement is key. I'll pop a link to the bouncing video below in the description, but 10 minutes of bouncing a day at my rate of bouncing is 1,000 steps. And a lot of us are stuck in our homes. We may not be out and moving around. I mean, those of you that are in a big city like New York, you're really not supposed to be out and moving around. And there's such a dense collection of people in that very small area. So if you're not outside and moving around, which some of us have been asked not to do at this time, then we need to do some other form of movement. Bouncing is a great way to do that form of movement. And if you're just simply bouncing. So that's your other tip. Movement is really good if you can actually get some movement in. Now, another wonderful, wonderful way to move your lymphatics is called Garshana, or lymphatic massage. It's skin brushing. So some of you may actually have a brush that you brush the skin with. The traditional Ayurvedic way is with raw silk gloves, and these are called Garshana gloves. There's a link below to get Garshana gloves, raw silk gloves, and they look like this. So they're kind of funky. The raw silk is said to ionize the skin. Don't have raw silk gloves or access to those, you can use these kind of nylon gloves. They're rougher and harder on the skin than, say, the raw silk is. Don't have that? Well, you can use a washcloth. It'll do the same thing and brush the skin. Don't have any of that handy? No worries. You can actually just use your hands. So, taking deep breaths in and out. We start with the left side and you're sweeping towards your heart. Big breaths in and big breaths out. You can go kind of fast with this. Your skin's going to pink up a little bit. I'm rubbing towards the heart because, again, it's going to the bloodstream and then to the lungs. And then I'm exhaling. So I want to help cleanse the lymph that's right here. So about 10 times on each side. And then you're sweeping towards the heart. So I'm moving to my left arm. So I try to stay on the left side and paying attention to the armpit. So sweeping up, make sure you get the whole skin, and it's a firm, I'm squeezing, it's a firm pressure. And then right side. Of course, if you have a really tender area, you're going to be more gentle with your tender area. Sweeping towards, sweeping towards. Remember, this is cleansing your immune system according to Ayurveda. Get your throat, because you've got lymph in your throat. You've got lymph in the back of your neck. For those of you that are migraine sufferers, I find it really interesting. I have a lymph node on the back here on one side, and that lymph node will get kind of hard and turn into a little button a week before I get a migraine. So keeping my lymph clear has actually been really good for my for my migraines. And then the face, and again, raw silk is nice and soft. I know I just rubbed my armpits, but whatever, because I'll take a shower later. And then sweep from the back to the front. Ladies, this is a really good way to get acquainted with your girls. So someone who does Garshana every day is very aware of their breasts. How often do you do a breast exam? My answer is daily, because I'm doing this kind of practice. Then when you get to your stomach, you're going clockwise. So up the left, over, down, up the right, over, down the left. So nice little circular action there. When you get to your hips, circular action on the outside of the hips, just like you're rolling on a river. Give up, do, do, do. A little bit of Tina Turner there on your hips. Get your back. Scrub your back. Now, usually when you're doing this, you're naked, but I'm not going to give you a little peep show as I'm cleansing my lymph, so don't use your imagination. And then you'll do your legs. So you're sweeping from the leg up towards your hip. Do the other leg. And then you're done. All told, it only takes a couple of minutes. You can do it fast. Then we release the gloves, and then you oleate your skin. So it's a chance, again, for another self-massage. So oleation of the skin is with a sesame oil if you have tendency towards really, really dry skin, a sunflower oil if you tend not towards dry skin, coconut oil or an almond oil if you tend towards really oily skin. And again, you rub it on, sweeping in the direction of the heart. Big breaths in and big breaths out. So when you oleate like that, you do want to have kind of throwaway clothes on because your clothes, it'll get into your clothes. Then you do your exercise. I love to put geranium oil in the oil that I put on my skin. Those of you that have come into close proximity with me, you can actually smell the geranium because that's what is on my skin. A good lymphatic oil would be something like palmarosa or grapefruit oil, but if you're using grapefruit oil, then you don't want to put that on before you go out in the sun because it is photosensitive and you can get a really bad sunburn. So I don't necessarily tend to put grapefruit oil on my skin for that reason. My actual favorite oil for lymphatic cleansing when I'm doing deep lymphatic cleansing is I'll use Zendocrine, which is from doTERRA. And if you want to get a hold of some of that, just let me know and I can hook you up. So that's your lymphatic massage. Then you do your exercise. And so you'll sweat out into the oil and then you'll take a shower. and then you'll get dressed. Years of living in the desert, I tend to oleate my skin afterwards, and I've been teaching in a pool this year, currently not teaching in a pool, and so I was in the pool a lot during the week, and I also would put oil on my skin afterwards to help it deal with all of the chlorine. Big breath in, and a big breath out. So we've covered diet and exercise and massage. Now I'm going to give you one last awesome tip, and this is cleansing the brain lymphatics. I learned this just a couple of years ago from Dr. Douillard, and there was a big tizzy going on in the Western medical community because they just discovered brain lymphatics for the first time ever, and noticed a correlation between depression and anxiety and clogged brain lymphatics, meaning clogged lymphatics could contribute to mood disorders. Oh my God. So, how do we cleanse the brain lymphatics? Scalp massage. So, your brain lymph is like a mohawk. And in one study that was done, they took, I forget what it's called, methadone, and they put methadone in an oil. It's called medicated oil in Ayurveda when something else is put in the oil. And one part of the group put the oil on their scalp. The other part of the group took the methadone orally. What they found was that the application of the oil through scalp massage brought in the methadone faster than oral usage of methadone, meaning what you put on your head gets absorbed into your system through your lymphatics. Eesh. So, what kind of shampoo are you using? What is in your shampoo? That could be huge. I make sure I use really good shampoo and conditioner because it's going on my scalp. I do actually oleate my scalp, and I only wash my hair twice a week currently because I'm not doing a whole heck of the amount of the exercise I was doing. I'm down to washing my hair once a week. So the way we massage, take out my ponytail for this. Take your fingertips, and you're going to give yourself a vigorous scalp massage and really focus on that mohawk area. This may also, clogged brain lymph may contribute to insomnia. So doing this at night before you go to bed with a sleep oil. With my doTERRA oils, I'd be using Serenity. Just a little bit. I have another oil I put on my scalp, and just a little bit of Serenity. And you're just rubbing. Now get the rest of your scalp. So make your hair a little poofy. Massage. Get the back of your neck. Let the palms rest open. Let the eyes be soft, and you're still taking deep breaths in and out. And feel the fingertips, the left fingertips and right fingertips. They're probably buzzing with energy. Feel your scalp, which may also be buzzing with energy. Take 3 more deep breaths in and out here. And then allow the eyes to open. So your last little tip is an inversion. It's called legs up the wall. It's just simply putting your hips on a little cushion and resting your legs up the wall. Your hips are a little higher than your heart, not by much. Your legs are, of course, higher by your heart. higher than your heart. It's called Viparita Karani. I'll post a link to a blog post below that shows you how to do the pose. It's called Viparita Karani, and Viparita Karani means reverse process. It's all about getting that lymph moving from the feet, and then it starts to pool in your intestines, and you release it through drinking your water and eating your roughage. So, lots of tips to help you keep your immune system clear and cleansed. You can do all of these. Viparita Karani is a practice to be done for about 20 minutes a day. It's soothing and restorative to the system. You can get all of these lymphatic cleansings in and done in about 30 minutes or less. So I highly recommend. That's 20 minutes for Viparita Karani, 10 minutes for bouncing. Oh, and let's add 5 minutes for your Garshana. And then sipping on your hot water all day long. If our immune systems are working well, if our lymph system is cleansed, we're so much less likely to get sick. So happy lymphatic cleansing, and happy checking into more information. Dr. Duyard actually has an online course that you can download. It's rather inexpensive. It's called The Miracle of Lymph. I bought it about 10 years ago. I must have listened to it. Oh, I don't know. I've listened to it 10, maybe 15 times. I love that, and I love listening to it. So thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, Lori and Meryl. Hope you put it to good use. Always pop anything into the comments if you have questions. Make sure you subscribe so you get notifications of when we're going live. Tomorrow's live video is the LifeForce Yoga Chakra Clearing Meditation. We're clearing all this week, so we're going to clear those chakras tomorrow morning with that LifeForce Yoga Chakra Clearing Meditation. And you can also head over to our website, yogafordepression.com, for more tips and tools. Thank you so much. Happy quarantining and going in, and I'll see you next time.